All right, says we're live. Just want to welcome everybody. Sorry for the delay. Had some technical difficulties on my end, but I just want to welcome you guys to the ScrappyDew live show. I'm Rob, and I'm joined here by two other people. I'm going to let them introduce themselves real quick, and we'll get on to today's topics and how you guys can communicate with us and use these Google Hangouts in case you are new to them. All right, so first I'm going to introduce here is Christopher Allen. Go ahead, Christopher.
Hello, everyone. I am Christopher Allen. You've seen me before on these Hangouts. I am the owner of Brutus Monroe, the stamp line, as well as you can find me at Christopher Allen Designs on YouTube and Facebook.
All right, and I'm also joined here by Amy Chomas. Go ahead, Amy.
Hi, Amy Chomas here. I am the owner of Chomas Creations, and we've been making pen and marker holders and engravers and embossers for die-cut machines for 6 years now, almost.
Yes. So that's going to be our main topic today. It's going to be Amy Chomas and her holders, and Christopher. He's going to share some of his knowledge using the tools anyway, because he has a set as well. And then we're going to talk about Christopher, and he's got some new stamps coming out. So if you're brand new to this format, all you have to do to interact with us is just comment down below, and we can pull up your stuff. You know, just like we have Cheryl here. Hopefully this shows up for everybody. You know, she's just saying hello. You know, everyone's saying hello. So let us know if you guys have these products. You know, either the engravers or the holders, and sort of tell us if you like them, and how you actually use them. So we sort of have like a little PowerPoint presentation of what the holders are and what kind of cool designs you guys can actually make with this stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead, and I want to go ahead and share my desktop here, and we'll mosey right along. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this stuff. So of course we're with Amy Chomas, Chomas Holders. So where you can write, create, and engrave. So this photo right here, Amy.
Yeah.
Sort of describe it to us. What'd you do with this? What kind of pen tool did you use?
This is actually the marker holder because my favorite gel pen is too big for the pen holder. So this is a marker holder with the Uniball Signo gel pen, and I just attach. These are like thin fonts, so they kind of look like they're not double lined, but they really are. And I just did the alphabet, and this was made with the silhouette cameo.
Gotcha. So, I got this photo today. This was actually on one of the Facebook pages here. Maybe Christopher, he can sort of describe what has happened in this photo. So go ahead, Christopher. What do you think the cause of this is?
That's what happens when you put a pen that doesn't belong in your Cricut in your Cricut.
So what's the deal with the Cricut pen holders? Is it only a certain brand that can fit in there, or?
Well, according to the manufacturer's instructions, you should only use the Cricut Explorer or Cricut branded markers. Generally, whenever a casing or a marker holder will break like this, I've seen when individuals are using the Pilot pens. They're the precision tip pens. The Explorer base of the marker holder does not like the rigid end of those, and when you try to force it down to the area that it needs to be to write, you will almost, I'd say, at least 80% of the time, you have a chance of breaking the pen holder, especially when you're pulling it back up. So you just always want to be extremely careful with the markers that you're using, obviously, in the Cricut branded marker holder.
Yeah. So going to this video, if you have the Explorer and you're trying to use other markers or other pens, that's what Amy came out with. Specifically designed for this, and we'll see here what this little chart here that's coming up next is. Basically her line. So is this right, Amy? You had to create a whole new brand just for the Cricut Explorer users out there because the sizes were different?
They were, and the heights were different. So if you have my old tools for the Cricut, they will not fit in the Explorer. We completely redesigned them. If you can see the third one over, how the ridges are different. Yeah. For the Explorer Air. Yeah.
I was bringing this up with Amy. I was like, hey, did you this how you know which marker is what, or which holder and engraver is what? And she said that they have the, you get the 2 rings that you'll see up here at the top for the Explorer, holder and engraver set, and then you have the 3 engraved ones for all the others. So that's what this chart's sort of describing here, is that if you do own the Explorer, you're going to have to, and you, just like Amy said, and you have the standard holder, you will have to get one of these in order to replace that standard one.
Right.
Now something you may want to mention here too, Amy, is does this fit the new Explorer 1 that's out there?
It does not, because they went and redesigned that one again. I mean, they do use the same blade holder, but it's a lot thinner. I don't know if we're gonna try to make something for that, because it's gonna be very limited in the pens and markers. Well, you won't even be able to use markers, right? From what I'm seeing, that it's very limited in size because the blade holder is so small. So, not sure there's going to be any possibilities with that machine.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, that's this was all that stuff in my presentation here. But Kay Hall had that question. She's like, "Hey, are you gonna be making any holders for that Explorer 1?" So,
not looking. I might, because I know a lot of people like having the option to draw with gel pens, and so I might. But that means me getting the machine, learning how to use it. And then summer's coming.
Should be fairly simple, right, Christopher?
Yeah, summer's coming.
All right, so that's basically her line there. Also, wanted to bring up for the Cricut Expression and Cricut, what is it, Cricut Personal and Create, those holders for that?
Yeah, all of the original, like you said, with the 3 rings around them, they're going to fit the Silhouette Cameo, and they're going to fit every Cricut machine except the Explorer and now the 1. But in the older machines, like the Create and the original Bug and the Expression, you're going to have pens or markers shorter than 3.5 inches. And there are some out there. Mm-hmm. There are some out there. So
yeah, that's what you started on, was the
mini gel
original Cricut, the original Cricut family.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're moving on, because the machines now, they don't have that lip over them, and you can use any length pen or marker. And it seems like more people are getting the newer machines because of the being outdated.
Oh yes.
Yeah, technology.
But there still are a few out there that still use
it.
But this will enable you to use a pen and marker.
Yeah. Anything that you already own, but of course we go shopping for more.
All right, so talk to us about the pen holder and what sizes can we fit in there. And
the pen holder is going to hold up to 3/8 inch, and that is a normal sized gel pen. The picture that you see right now is all the marker holder, what the marker holder is going to fit. But mostly it's just gel pens. But that's going to center your normal size gel pens. Those are not the gel pens that have like a sticky grip or anything. That's your Jelly Roll by Sakura. Is that how you say that? Sakura?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. They're in you go to Michael's or Joann's, and they're the little colors that are all sold separate. Those are your standard gel pens.
Now, every single pen holder and marker holder as well gets shipped with a licked popsicle stick. Is that right?
Yes, fresh from the popsicle.
Yes, and it is.
We eat a lot of popsicles.
So Amy had to eat a lot of popsicles, and tell us why we have to have the popsicle. What does it do for us?
Well, that's going to set your height for your pens or markers. If they're too low in the machine, they're going to draw on your paper where you don't want them to draw. If they're too high, they're not going to touch the paper. But the popsicle stick was like the easiest way just to figure out the height. So that's what we went with. And it also protects the surface, like your paper or whatever's in the machine. So I like to put in and take out with the popsicle stick underneath my marker or pen so it doesn't touch my paper.
I see. So I guess that's why that one's right there. Perfectly okay.
Yeah, you see all the writing on it too.
Yeah, perfectly okay to mark up your popsicle stick. And
not your paper.
Yeah, and Christopher knows all about popsicles, right, Christopher? Yes. That's how Christopher was introduced to us, was he used popsicles to actually write on. So check out that video too. Just do Christopher Allen popsicle sticks and you'll find that cool video. All right, so I digress. But Still, yeah. I mean, it ships with a popsicle stick. It's used
It
there,
does.
used to help not only help with the height, but allows to keep your paper clean.
Yeah.
Now we have you mentioned it a little before, but we're going to highlight that here as well. These tools that we're mentioning will fit with the original Cricut family, but they're sort of like a little small fine print about that.
That is the
it's restricted in height.
Right. In
So
the original Cricut, the Create, and the Expression, there is a lip over the blade holder that's going to stop you from putting in any link, pen, or marker. Because you can see that I have a full-size Sharpie in that post, and that's because there's no lip over the blade holder.
All right, and yeah, we'll sort of show that here shortly. All right, so one of the people always ask the question, well, do I need the marker holder as well as the pen holder? So I thought, this photo that Amy has, she did. It's on the left-hand side here, and go ahead and sort of explain, why would I want to buy a pen holder as well as a marker holder?
Well, it's a matter of personal preference, and a lot of people like to cut in shadow, or as you can see, I tried drawing and then cutting a circle around that. So personal preference, I asked a lot of my scrappy friends if they thought they would want to have the option to cut in shadow, and I was told by every single one of them, yes, that's what they would want, because of course it's more expensive to have both. So we went with the pen holder, and as you can see, it's not. You put it in the marker holder. The pen on the right's in the marker holder, so it's not centered.
I'm trying to over-exaggerate. So if I were to purchase just the marker holder and slap a pen in there,
it's way off to the side, and then you're going to get something like you see on the left. It's not drawing where you want it to draw.
Yeah.
But it's still doable. You can still just get the marker holder. You can just put your pen in the marker holder, but you're going to have to find other ways around. You're not going to be able to do anything in shadow.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be perfectly okay if I were to have something like this and slap it in there, because I'm slicing the edges off of, I don't care what the offset is on this.
Right, a square or a circle or
But if I'm trying to do a cut around of something that I draw, I'd want it centered.
Or shadow. Yep.
So this photo right here sort of demonstrates that. So you have an off-centered one and you have a properly centered one.
Right. So that would be those gel pens I was talking about, the jelly rolls that you can find anywhere. That is the jelly roll in the pen holder that is properly centered. Oh, look, he has one. Thanks, Christopher. I'm like, should I have anything in front of me? And now I don't.
Let me pull up Christopher here. Go ahead and show it, Christopher.
Centering it in mine to practice.
Okay.
Go ahead and show it.
He's going to have some awesome things going on.
Can you show it again, Christopher? We didn't see it.
I was putting it into mine to see like the centering, and it does center perfectly.
Okay.
So those are the ones we designed it for because they're my favorite. They have like 100, I want to say 100 varieties. They have them in glaze. They have them in, it looks like chalk, like when you're writing on the black. They have them in shimmery and silver. There are just so many different options with the Sakura Jelly Roll.
All right, and so, let's say you complete a project here.
Oh yeah, I used to have time to do that kind of stuff.
So there you go. There's a final project based off of that. So that's just one example of what you can do, and then we have some other examples. Like now, all this stuff really comes from Amy's blog. If you just type in Amy Chomas and blog, you'll find it. Okay, so go ahead and sort of walk us through this on how you can create with multi-colors.
Okay. Well, this is with the Silhouette machine. In their software, they do not have anything with layers. So what you have to do is you have to go into cut settings. I don't know how they're showing up for everybody else, but it's kind of hard to see. But if you go into the cut style in the designer software, you can turn lines on and off. So you want to have what you're going to draw, you want to have those lines turned on, and everything you don't want to draw, you turn those lines off. And then each time you want to switch your color, you're going to turn the lines off that you just drew and turn the lines on that you're going to draw next. I do have a nice tutorial on my blog with this one too.
Yes.
I don't know if we can link it later, but it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little time consuming. I really like layers.
And these are the Sharpies that you use.
Yeah. So a full-size, half-inch original Sharpie is going to fit in the marker holder, and anything else that's up to a half-inch.
All right. All right. And then, so now you can see that you can draw. You can, you know, add some text. Now.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about the chalkboard fonts too.
Oh yeah.
The happy birthday card.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, those are the chalkboard fonts. So I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, I just drew these, but there's nothing on the inside. That's because your machine is going to cut whatever you're drawing. So if you want it to draw and look like you're filled in, there's some fun fonts out there, and they're free, and those are chalkboard fonts. And they look like as you can see, that is just the chalkboard font. So it looks like it's got a fancy fill pattern. And there's a lot of different ones out there that do the same thing.
Yes, and
fun.
And you can go to Amy's blog, and she's got all the links of her favorite chalk fonts.
Oh,
so
yes.
So when I was looking at Amy's blog, I noticed that, you know, typically we always think of drawing with text and everything, but then she had this on here, and I thought it was kind of cool, which was, you know, you can fill in your own background. You know.
Yeah, I'm so picky when it comes to my background papers. I know a lot of people out there probably have the same problem. Like, you have doggy pictures and you want the cute doggy page, but I can't find the paper to match. So I started creating my own background papers, and obviously for my daughter, that was her graduation pictures. I just wanted something simple, so I drew all the lines that you see there, and then I just colored in a few of them to add a little something. And then the one on the bottom right, the circles, those are done with the engraving tip. There's this paper out there called Kreations cardstock, and its center is different than the outside. So this is the craft cardstock. So as you can tell, the top is red, and when I engraved into the red, it was craft underneath, and you give it a light sanding, and that's what you get. And that's one of my favorite things to do with the engraving tip, because I'm more of a paper or a cardstock. You know, I paper craft. So it's fun.
That's a great. You know, like you said before, you know, it's a great way to you know, take that paper and get your own design on there.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And another thing I like is if you don't have a 12 by 12 printer or a 12-inch printer, you can draw your own journaling on your background page. You now have the option to do that. I don't know if we have any of that up, or, but you can draw your own journaling right on your page.
Yeah, I thought I had some Christmas.
Oh, did I skip ahead?
No. I don't think I put it in here, but we can show it here. All right, so that sort of segues us into engraving, but I wanted to bring up this thing because you know, I'm seeing a lot of this in the groups, and I thought that we could touch base on this, which is, you know, here's the competition out there.
It's just not pretty, Rob. Let's face it. It's not pretty.
We have PVC pipe. Christopher, your expression on this looks kind of funky.
It looks like something that was in a prison.
Yeah,
like,
it's definitely Shawshank, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I apologize. I don't even know who the competitor is, but it literally looks like something that someone made in like a program or something. Yeah.
It's definitely Lowe's. That's her competition, and this is actually on eBay, okay? And you know, I sort of want Amy to talk a little bit about it. I mean, it's going for sale. I think it's like $8 plus $4 shipping or something like that.
Yeah, so definitely cheaper.
It does.
But
yep.
My husband designed all of our parts. He's been an engineer, and he was a machinist before then. So he has worked in this trade for almost 24 years now. So he knows, you know, the design is just right. He knows how it works with the machine. We made it out of aluminum. It's lightweight. I did pick a plastic screw, but that was because I wanted something that would be easy. I know, like, there's older people that craft, and I wanted them to be able to just have a grip on that and be able to turn that easy. So we did pick the larger plastic screw. to put in there. But in the, gosh, I think it's been over 3 years now we've done adjustable holders. One lady has stripped a screw, one out of I don't even know how many, and she said it was her fault, but I still sent her a new screw because she was nice to me. So all you have to do is be nice, and I'll send you one if you ruin the screw. But yeah.
Yeah. So another thing that's if you're comparing this to a pen holder is that PVC pipe is a fixed diameter, so it's more
Right.
like a fat marker. So if you're into that center cut stuff, it's not going to work.
No.
Her husband has measured the correct diameter, so these things do fit, and they fit right.
Right. Yes, and he's gone back to the drawing board. I mean, it's not something he did overnight either. He's
it's nothing that you
a
can
long
find
time to get it right. Yeah.
find at Lowe's and get a hacksaw and go to town with. So tested, proven to fit nice and snug in all these machines.
And to make crafters smile. No.
So that's what I always I wanted Amy to bring up here. All right, so we talked about the holders. Let's talk a little bit about the engravers and what it can do. The engravers, you have them for the same machines that you have the holders for. Is that correct?
I do. Yep. So the one that you see right now it's the 2 rings at the top, and that's the one for the Explorer. But the other one will fit. Oh my gosh! You know what? I'm going to open my blog really quick and tell you, because people have sent me samples that they've done on other ones. It'll work in the Zing and Pazzles, and the Black Cat Lynx, and anything else manufactured by them. The Gazelle, the U.S. Cutter, and those have all they're on my blog. There's links with people showing them working in those machines. So, and then it's also, the Silhouette and all of the Cricut machines except for the Explorer, that's going to work.
So you said this is made of solid aluminum?
Oh, aluminum.
Aluminum. Okay.
Aluminum. That's
my British coming out of me. Okay, so
that's the fancy word. But the tip
aluminum
is,
body.
Yes,
the
aluminum body and carbide.
All right, carbide.
Yep. Even our carbide we get it from a U.S. manufacturer.
Oh yeah, all Amy's products are manufactured in the U.S.
Yes, USA.
So when you are engraving, you do want to secure your media. And
you learn that the hard way.
Yeah. Sort of learned that the hard way, guys. Like I said, I'm not a crafter. Okay, so I'm testing out these items, and the media that you use, you do want to secure it down. I used painter's tape because it's very easy to take off the mat and put back on. You can even reuse it, but I do recommend secure that puppy down, because
it'll move.
Yeah, what will happen is that engraver tool will push down maybe a little too hard on that media, and it will drag the media with it, and that will just ruin the engraving. So to help yourself,
might want to practice too. Always, if you have like little scrap to practice on, practice.
Yes. Yeah. So another thing about the media here is, some machines out there, sort of like the Cameo, right? So you want to make sure that media can actually fit underneath those rollers whenever you're deciding to.
And if it fits, I'll engrave on it. I've tried.
Yeah. So, those were dog tags, little metal dog tags. We got metal plates. There's little metal stop signs. What else can you engrave on here, Amy?
I have sent through. Well, you showed the coordinations cardstock, and I've engraved on acrylic. Those are to the left. I've got this new huge community. These awesome ladies that they welcomed me, but that is metal clay. They are using the engraving tip on metal clay, and they are just doing some astounding things. I can't even touch on that. I mean, that's so beyond me. But so we've got metal clay artists now using it, and then in the upper right, that is a blank, and you can engrave on jewelry blanks. And the bottom right is.
That's me. That's what I did.
That's you. Yeah, that's not me.
Yeah. So this was sort of a Sure Cuts Lot 4 now has line fill, so you can make a shape and put lines on it, and so that was engraved using Amy's engraver. on that.
Yeah,
So,
you did a good job.
so you can line fill shapes and then have the engraver grave it. So that was another cool thing that Shortcuts Lot put in there. So now you're no longer restricted to, you know, Inkscape had hatch fill. You know, you can do this with shapes, you can do this with text, and it just makes a nice little design. And those lines right there are 0.01 inches apart in order to make that look.
Can you open that, make that bigger?
Yeah, I can try here. Let's see.
Okay. You were doing that fancy thing with another one.
Yeah.
You can see how close they are together.
Yeah. So those are hatched. I believe we got lines going up and down and left and right, and they're all 0.01 inches apart, according to the Shortcuts Lot program, anyway. So yeah, so pretty cool feature in Shortcuts Lot. Like I said, it can export SVGs for you Explorer owners out there, so you can probably do the same thing that I did. All right. Okay, so we did have a question early on, and it was the question about the cardstock, Amy. I don't know if you remember me submitting that to you about scoring thicker cardstock and how we can do it. You remember that question?
Yeah. Yep.
So go ahead and sort of explain what the lady was asking, and then we'll show the photo of what you suggest.
Oh, well, she wanted to emboss on card or score cardstock. And for people that don't know, scoring is like you make a line so that paper folds easier. So that'd be like a card, like the score line on that. And to do this, I have these styluses as well. You add that to the pen holder, and they are perfectly centered. I made sure before I got them. But you add that to the pen holder, and you use the pressure at all the way to the top. Was at 33 in the Cameo, I believe. And you're going to have to do it probably 3 or 4 times, and you have to make it so it's you know, just a line. You don't want it to be open, or you're going to get off path. But yeah, and that'll help you score cardstock.
All right, now.
And I do that. I'm cheap. I do that with all my cards.
So if you guys are ever wondering about, you know, what kind of settings you use for the engraving, what settings do you use for the pen? Amy, where can we find all that stuff at?
You know, they are on my blog at chomascreations.com, and they are on the right side.
Okay.
And there is a lot of information there. How we talked about why I offer the pen and marker holder and the differences, and then there's best settings in the silhouette tools and best settings in the expression in Cricut Mini. And there's and then it shows the difference between embossing and engraving, because I do get that question a lot, where engraving is more etching and scratching a surface, and embossing is just, or scoring is kind of more just digging into the surface but not scratching or etching. To create a raised image. Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, now I can.
You can hear me now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to pull up a couple of comments, a couple of questions. Back on the multicoloring, Kay Hall wanted to mention this. She said that the Silhouette Studio version 3 now has cut by line color, so very easy for multicolor designs. So Amy, it's time to upgrade.
I gotta upgrade. I know.
All right, what about, do you have any holders that will here's the question here. She says, will there be a holder for fat pens for the eclips?
I don't have any tools for the eclips. Being that we're such a small home-based business, we kind of had to cut it off at certain machines, and I wouldn't be able to give them the attention that they need, so I stick with the machines that I know and I use. Okay.
And let me scroll through here. Let's see what Sheila Rogers says. She says, I have the large and small pen holders, and I have the Explorer. I ordered 4 months ago. Do you need to replace them?
If she bought them for the Expression or the other Cricut machines, yes, because Cricut completely redesigned the Explorer, and we had to change all of our parts to fit it. Our old parts did not fit it.
Okay.
So if she didn't buy them for the Explorer, they're not going to fit in the Explorer.
Gotcha. And we also wanted to bring up that they fit on the left side, right?
Yes, they do fit on the left side. Yes.
And Christopher, he has a little warning about if you're trying to use these if you're trying to snap out that the Cricut pen holder. You said be careful when you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So sort of explain this. Now, yeah, go ahead. And then after you finish, I'll say some stuff.
I mean, I don't. I mean, the only explanation is just to be careful. I mean, I can't say anything more.
Yeah. So if we do have the, ScrappyDew just started carrying these. So if you're interested in them, go to ScrappyDew.com. It's under Tools. I have them for the Explorer under the Tools section up there. Make sure you select the Cricut one, and you'll see the video. Ken did a nice video demonstration. You can click his photo, and it will pop up with the video. And it's about 22 minutes long. He did it for Amy to show off the Explorer, not only the pen tool, but the engraving. It actually shows it all in action, what you can do with it, create with it, and his opinions of it. So check that out if you get a chance. I wish Ken was here too. Tier. He said he had to close those today. Marissa said that she should love a class for Scal. I'll tell you what, that line fill that I showed you with that little radioactive sign. If you do a search for line fill on ScrappyDew line fill, we actually have about a 7-minute class on it, showing you what you can do with it and how to line fill in Shortcut. It is a pretty easy task, and it's a great feature that Brandon put. All right. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for Amy about her holders and her pens, feel free to ask. Just type in the comment below. You can bring it up just like we have been. Like I said, there's probably about a 30-second delay. So if you do come in, we'll go ahead and bring them back up. So to keep the show moving along, though, we're going to go to Christopher. Christopher's got some stamps that he wants to talk about. So what you got for Christopher?
Absolutely. The new stamp set that's being released in May. I have to think about what date or what month we're coming up on, because obviously I designed these stamps like 2 to 3 months previously. Everybody probably already saw the jar stamp, that's coming out. But there's a new stamp set that I just kind of teased a little bit in the Christopher Allen Designs Facebook group, but I'm going to actually show you the stamp set now. I'm going to share my screen and I actually don't have the physical stamp set yet. It takes a little bit of time to manufacture them from whenever the design goes in. So the stamp set is not actually with me yet, but I do have obviously the visual markup or mock-up of the stamp because it is something that I obviously have to create for the website. So you can let me know if it's actually up on the screen or not. Is it distorted?
Nope, it looks nice, crystal clear.
Okay. So this is the new stamp set that is actually going to be released in the beginning of May. It says, "I'm not into exercise. If God wanted me to bend over, he would put diamonds on the floor." We've had a lot of awesome response to this stamp set, so I'm really excited about it. Obviously, as everyone knows, I am not your average stamp company, and there's going to be a lot of puns and funny things and kind of off-the-wall things that will be coming from Brutus Monroe. So if you like it...
Or like 50 Shades of Brutus?
What, I'm sorry?
Are we going to say 50 Shades of Brutus Monroe?
No, nothing along those lines. But
okay.
It's definitely, I always say that we're not your grandmother's stamp company. It certainly is not going to be a stamp line where you're going to find the frilly and the cutesy. It's a lot of really fun and different kind of images and sayings and a lot of awesome stuff planned that will be coming up in the upcoming couple of months. I'm super excited for the Halloween set that will be coming up. Obviously, we have a while till Halloween, but this is when I start working on Halloween. So it's very Halloween-y in my studio right now because that's the stamp sets that I'm working on now. But I did tell Rob that I would do a little bit of an overview of kind of what you will need to do the stamping. Obviously, there are ScrappyDew stamps that are out there, the dewdrops. So everything that I'm explaining to you right now is going to coincide with both of the stamp lines. Both of our stamp lines obviously are photopolymer. They do come from the best. From what I've researched, the best manufacturer out there right now for photopolymer stamps, rather than obviously doing it yourself in your own kind of little factory. They're the best of the best that you can have them manufactured by. And obviously, when you get the stamp set, I have one of the stamp sets here. This is our Let's Catch Up stamp set from Brutus Monroe. You're just going to take just a regular acrylic block, and I did have mine sitting here, and of course, now it's, oh, here it is. You'll just take a regular acrylic block. You can take whatever acrylic block that you would like to adhere the stamp set to. And I guess now, at this point, I can announce this as well. Brutus Monroe will have acrylic blocks that are going to be released in June. The acrylic blocks, there's a big difference with the acrylic blocks for Brutus Monroe, and that is, again, I don't have one yet because it takes a while to manufacture, but the outside of the acrylic blocks that are sold from Brutus Monroe are actually tinted gray. A lot of complaints that I've seen, or a lot of issues that I've seen with the clear blocks, is that when they're down on a work surface, or they fall on the floor, or they're anywhere other than in your hand, they're completely clear. So you can't see them. It's hard to actually see them and figure out where they are on your work surface. So with having one with a gray, it's actually called, I think it's called fog gray is the color that I chose, that outlines the entire block. It's very easy to find that block, and also helps with a little bit of the spacing. So enough about that. You'll see a whole bunch of marketing for those in June. But you place, obviously, just your stamp directly onto whatever acrylic block that you want to use. I suggest using an acrylic block that's thicker than this one, only because this acrylic block is super thin. If you watch any of my stamping videos, I said I would never use this block again because my hand always goes into the ink. But you would just place it, obviously, right on here. This is how you do it for the dewdrops. This is how you would do it for the Brutus Monroe stamps. And then you would just stamp it into your...
And there's nothing sticky to the stamps itself that make it stick to there?
Photopolymer is a naturally sticky material. So it's kind of like the way that I explain it to all the individuals that ask me questions about it is, whenever your children or any child has those sticky hands that you throw up against the wall and they stick, and then they get all gross, and then you wash them off and they're sticky again, that's almost exactly like what photopolymer will be like. As soon as it gets kind of fingerprinty and all sorts of different grit and grime on them from using them a lot, you just simply wash them with a mild detergent or a stamp cleaner, and they will be just like new again. So that's, again, the nice thing about the photopolymer stamps, is they really, really last for a long time. And now for the stamp pads, we'll just go over this very, very quickly. There are 3 types of stamp pads that I use most often, and I'll review those very quickly. The first one is going to be a pigment-based permanent ink. VersaFine is a really, really great ink for that. This is pretty much the same kind of situation as Memento ink that you'll see everybody use, the Tuxedo Black ink. This ink is a little bit different because it's an instant dry pigment ink, which means that if you're using a very fine stamp, any stamp that has fine lines or like a sentiment, this dries instantly, so it does not give the ink time to spread out on the paper. If you use an ink that is a longer drying time, obviously your ink will have the opportunity to spread out and kind of move around on the paper a little bit more, whereas this dries almost instantly, so you don't have those problems. So my first ink that I use a lot is going to be the VersaFine or the Memento ink, which is a dye-based or pigment ink. The second ink that I use the most is going to be my Versamark ink. This is the Versamark Dazzle ink. It also comes in just the standard Versamark. These are the 2 here. And these are watermark inks. And what this is it's an oil-based ink that stays wet for quite some time. Now, to segue back to the Chomas Creations pen holder, the Ranger, the company Ranger has a perfect medium pen that you can purchase, which is the exact same formula as what is in a Versamark ink pad. And you can actually use this with your Chomas Creations pen holder, and you can draw whatever you would like. I do have a tutorial where I show you how to draw a wingding. It's a Halloween wingding, and you can actually emboss it, which is awesome. I mean, when I discovered that this would fit into the pen holders, I can't tell you how excited I was, because now you have millions of stamps at your disposal because you can draw anything with this. And it's the same as the Versamark. You just put the embossing powder on top and then use your heat gun to heat set it, and that melts it, and then it's permanent. So this would be my second most used ink. And then I'll actually throw a fourth in, but the third one is going to be my distress inks. They're my favorite inks by far. I do not really use them to stamp. They're not really made for stamping, I guess. You can stamp with them, but they're really used for watercoloring. You can actually stamp your image and then use a water brush, and you can kind of color in your project. And I actually have one here that I made with the Let's Celebrate set. I stamped the cake, and then I was able to actually pull the color from this ink and actually color the cake. And this is awesome for also the ScrappyDew stamps, the Easter set that I believe is still available. And you can actually stamp it, and then you can use the ink that you've stamped with to actually color the different. I mean, it's really, really cool. And then, of course, the fourth, but certainly not least, would be the Stays-On ink. Stays-On, if you're familiar, it's the ink that smells really, really good. It smells like hazelnuts. I'm not sure why, but it does smell. It's odd, but it smells awesome. And this can be stamped on anything. You can stamp this on glass. You can stamp this on plastic. Basically, any non-porous surface that you would not normally use a stamp pad for, you can stamp with this stamp pad, and it will. It's a solvent ink, so it will stick to those non-porous surfaces and stay on there. The only thing really that I have found that takes it off is rubbing alcohol. And that's kind of how I stamp in 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate that. So, also, don't you want to bring up, you got some slots open for your Patreon club?
Do I, though?
I don't know. I haven't checked in 3 days.
I'm not sure. I'll have to let me look real quick before I...
Well, while you're looking, I'm going to go to Amy for some questions. All right, you ready, Amy?
I'm ready. I had to turn my microphone back on.
Oh, that's good.
So you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All this fancy high-tech stuff.
Like the Channel 11 news.
All right, so Christy here, she said, which one would the fine tip Sharpies fit better in?
They are only going to fit in the marker holders, so definitely the marker holders.
All right, so we got that one, and then we have K Hall. I don't know if you know the answer to this one. Maybe Christopher does as well. But we have, is there any good sources for sketch files, like a handful of nice ones at Lettering Delights?
Oh, Kay's always trying to stump me.
I know. I think Kay really knows the answer, but
I think so, and I know
feel free to answer that,
one
Kay.
that I've used time and again. Not really sketch, but there's wingdings out there. I guess if you Google it, isn't that what they're called? Or Doodlebat fonts? No, that's Lettering Delights. Oh, she's doing Dingbats. Yeah. But Lettering Delights, really, they have my favorites. I'm not sure where else because I just get them from them. But yeah, they have some good ones.
All right. Let's see. And then Sheila, she says, so is there no pen holders for the Explorer per se, except for what Christopher said? And that be very, very careful.
Kind of confusing me.
Yeah. So I think we may have confused you a little there, Sheila. Basically, in order to use Amy's holders, you need to pop out that scoring tool, that pen adapter that Cricut naturally gives you. So you want to be very careful when you pop that out, that you don't break anything, that nothing pops loose. And Ken does an excellent job explaining this in his video. And
I have a video too that did it, but oh my gosh, I sent that thing flying across the room when I popped it out. It was so easy. So
I remember
what
that.
Ken?
Your neighbors sued you for a window replacement when that thing popped out. So
I'm like, whoa, there it goes.
Yeah. And then the holder should just plop right in where that scoring tool adapter came
and
out.
that's the A slot, because there's an A and B slot,
Yep.
and the A slot is where they have the marker holder on the Explorer, and the B slot is where the blade goes. So you're going to pop out the little plastic piece on the A slot. Is Christopher going to show us a machine? He has like 100 of them.
I was just going to say it's really easy to remember because A for accessory and B for blade. So
Oh, look at that.
Oh, there you go.
Every time that anybody asks me that, because you can't
have-
imagine how many times we've gotten some switcheroos of the blade and the accessory, and you don't want to cut whenever it thinks that it's writing, I promise you. But
Yeah.
the blade actually does not fit in the pen holder, so and vice versa. So it's very easy to remember. Just A is always your accessory port.
I always remember it as lefty scory, righty cutty. That doesn't make sense though.
So Sheila,
Nothing like a nursery rhyme.
so there is a pen and marker holder for the Explorer as well as an engraving tip. There is a special one made special for the Explorer by Chomas Creations.
Yes, it's double lined.
Double lined, yes.
Yeah. So let me screen share real quick, just to show you guys where. Let me go ahead and screen share. All right. So on the ScrappyDew page, if you're wondering about this, Sheila, okay. So make sure you go to Cutting Tools, and then I believe we got the Cricut Explorer tools. You'll see a nice, cool photo of Ken. See, he's like popping up out here. So all you have to do is click him, and you'll be taken to his video. Showing you everything: the engraver, the various pen tools, the marker tool. So he goes over the entire Chomas line for the Explorer, and it's a great video. Check it out. Like I said, he does a great job. And now that Ken's a part of the show again.
Wait, scroll down a little more. What do you got there?
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, look at that!
Yeah. So you can actually find these pens, or the pen holder, marker holder, and the engraver on the ScrappyDew website. So
Yeah.
yeah, and plus they're all on sale. You'll see a little ticker when they go back off sale. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. All right, let me go ahead and stop screen sharing, of course, and see if there's any more questions. And did you check on your Patreon page there, Christopher? Are you all booked up?
I did. We actually have 7 spots available.
Okay.
For the Stamp Club. I haven't checked in a couple of days. And that's just basically if you sign up on my Patreon page, and it's a $5 monthly pledge. You can obviously cancel at any time. You receive a 2x3 stamp every single month. You receive the stamp as well as the shipping is included in that, and you also receive a discount coupon that's actually in all of the Stamp Clubs. So if you have never purchased from Brutus and Monroe before, you actually have a little incentive in there to come back to the store.
All right. So I guess that about wraps it up. If there's no other things, let's do one last scroll here. Explorer. Yeah. So it's more of a comment here. So there's 2 holders that you can order for the Explorer. So you have one for the pen, one for the markers. So that they are Explorer specific. They're the Explorer Air, the original Explorer. They do not fit the Explorer 1. So keep that in mind. All right, so I guess that about does it for this. Make sure you sign up for ScrappyDew.com/live so you know when the next one is. We also send out a reminder email about anywhere from 15 minutes to 10 minutes before we do a live show. And that way you'll say, hey, I got an email, and we'll check it out. But if you happen, this is recorded and it'll be up on YouTube here, maybe 5 minutes after we close out here. So I thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Amy, for coming out and explaining your invention, your creations, and thank you, Christopher, for showing up as well. And very cool stamps that you have coming out with, and I'm very excited about that acrylic block. It's pretty cool. I remember you mentioned it about 2 months ago how it would be great to have one with a border, so you can find it easy. So, all right. So we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for coming out.